I haven't put highlighter on. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Real talk, it is not very often that I get excited by nude, neutral eyeshadow palettes. And when I say not very often, I mean almost never, just because I like my bold looks, I like my colourful looks. If you've watched any of my other videos or you've seen me on Facebook, you'll know that I love colour. Now, by the title of the video, you'll already know exactly what this is about. I'm not going to make a big deal of it. But let me tell you, this collection has completely shifted my perception of if I actually like nude palettes. It has got me so excited for more soft glam looks like this one. I did create this using the palette. So I'll show you guys how to do that in a minute. But first of all, we're going to have a nosy at the collection. So this is the palette. Look at that packaging. The packaging theme continues all the way inside. And then the palette itself. There is a mirror. Just look at her. Now, this is marketed as a nude palette. I wouldn't class it as nude. It is more neutral. I mean, it says there, the hottest nudes of the year. But, I mean, I would class this more as a neutral palette rather than a nude palette. But that might just be me. Now, I don't normally do swatch videos, so you're going to have to bear with me for this and just, you know, just bear with me. This is the second row. This is the third row. And that is the fourth row. So straight off the bat, there are a lot of pale shades in here. They do build up. Some of them take a little bit more work than others to build up. One thing I do like about the paler shades is that a lot of palettes now don't tend to come really with transition shades as such. So this half of the palette is more sort of transition-y shades. And a lot of them are more neutral rather than cool or warm, which again is quite unusual. I'm really happy about that. I will say quickly, the swatches were over bare skin. There was no base. And having used the shadows, they do blend really nice. As I say, they do take a little bit of building up, but they do blend really lovely. I don't mind having to work to build them up as long as the blend is there. So for me, it's not an issue. I will say those with deeper skin tones may find it a bit more difficult to use the lighter shades in the palette, except for maybe on the front of a cut crease or something. But it is a really nice addition to my collection, and I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do. It's kind of crazy how much I love it. And I didn't expect that at all because, as I say, I'm not about that nude, neutral life. Also in the collection there are two paints. So we have Re-White and Feed Black. Now these are, if you remember, the Acid Rain paints in collaboration with the Mama Mitchell, or the Crisp Finish paints. The same formula. And again, the awesome packaging. It's just, that is one thing I will always say about the PLouise brand. The packaging is like a strong 12 out of 10. The attention to detail is insane. So the names are fairly self-explanatory. You have Re-White, which is a white paint, and Feed Black, which is, as the name suggests, a black paint. These dry down matte, opaque within 60 seconds. If you leave them to set, they dry. I honestly find these a really innovative formula. I've not come across anything similar to these from any other brand, and I have a few of these now that I absolutely love, Blank Canvas being one of them. Sorry if you can hear the dogs meandering around. Blank Canvas is a firm favourite. I love the formula. I wasn't sure at first, but I did grow to like it, but I felt that way about the base as well, I think, because it is something so new. And each paint comes with a brush as well. This is the 7072 brush from PLouise. So the same as the crisp finish packets, they came with a brush, as do these fresh ink paints. Last but not least, part of the collection that I know a lot of people are kind of on the fence about is the brush set. This is the PLouise's Trash brush. This is the PLouise's Trash brush set. It is a 12-piece brush set and it comes in a little metal trash can. So it is a set of 12 brushes. There are 3 face brushes, 4 blending brushes, 2 smudger brushes, and 3 variations of liner brushes. All of them have this incredible detailing on them, and they are a mix of synthetic and natural fibre brushes. So you can get them as a set, or you can buy them individually, and it is listed on the website which are synthetic and which are natural fibre, if it is a concern that you have. So you can buy the collection as a whole, or you can buy the pieces individually, so you could just buy the palette and the white paint, say, or, you know, a couple of brushes and the black paint and the palette, that sort of thing. If you do order from this collection, I do have an affiliate code. It is LEANNEAUDREY 10, and that will save you 10% on your orders from the PLouise website on cosmetics and courses. As I say, in the interest of transparency, it is an affiliate code, so if you guys do use the code, I am super appreciative. Thank you. So I've shown you guys the collection now, and I'm gonna, with the magic of editing, jump back and show you guys just quickly how I created this nice soft glam look, and then I'll be back to just give my final thoughts. Starting off with the PLouise base in shade Rumour 2, I use this to prep and prime my lid, just patting it in, working it until it's nice and tacky, and for this I use an E22 brush from Morphe. The first shade I was drawn to for this look was this deep berry shade called Fiction, and using a Morphe M507 I put that down as my first shade, following my natural crease shape and just building it up until I was really happy with the intensity of it, and this shadow built up really easily, I must admit, and then softly diffusing that edge to allow for our first blend. The second shade I took was Tacky, and I used this just to further blend out the edges of that first shade, Fiction, and you can see these two melt together absolutely perfectly. The blendability on these shadows is honestly second to none. For those of you curious, this is a Morphe M506 brush because I didn't want to get my new PLouise ones dirty. Our transition shade for this look was Broadcast, which is literally the most perfect pinky toned transition shade. It's so neutral, bordering on cool, and it just blended everything out exactly how I wanted it, and I just used a fluffy Jessup brush for this step. Once all those colours were laid down, I just went back in and built each previous shade up until I was happy with it, just because when we're blending you can lose a little bit of intensity, but this is why PLouise recommends sandwich stages, so that's exactly what we did here. For the lid, it was the shade Public, which I used wet. I just gave my brush a spritz of Matte Fix Plus, and hell yeah, I forgot to film a product shot for this. But it is just this lovely shimmery gold. As I said, I used it wet, it showed up much better, and then just blended away any harsh edges. As we know, no eye look is complete without a nice smoky under eye, so I just brought those same shades from the crease down underneath, so Fiction first, then Tacky, and then softly blended everything out with a little bit of Broadcast. For inner corner highlight, I took a little pencil brush and the shade Exclusive, which is a lovely shimmery white. Now this I used dry, so it wasn't super intense. And then on a tiny little fan brush, I took the same shade and used it under my brow. Adding a brow highlight, or as we call it in our Pickle supporters group, a howlight, is optional, but believe me, it seriously changes the game. For liner, I cheated and used the Feed Black paint, and she did not disappoint. She was lovely and black and opaque, and she dried down matte, and I managed to even smudge her out to be just ever so slightly smoky, which just added to the whole soft glam look. Quick flick of mascara, and I finished the look off with these lashes from Primalash in the style Chill. Okay, so that is how we achieved this look. Final thoughts on the collection. As I said at the start, I didn't think I was going to like this, and I really do. The palette is interesting, it's beautiful, it's very neutral in multiple senses of the word. It's unlike anything else I've got in my collection at the minute. The paints, love the paint formula, super happy to have a white and a black. So versatile, can use them on their own, can mix them with the other paints to custom mix colours. It's just a very exciting addition to the PLouise family, so I honestly think the paints are what I'm most hyped for. And the brushes are lovely, the brushes are stunning, really well made, really good quality. I'm really excited to get to use them more, even though I don't want to get them dirty. Brushes are one of those things that I do think you need to invest in, because good brushes will last you a lifetime. I've got Zoeva brushes, which are a similar price point to these PLouise ones, and they're going on for like 5 years old now, and they still, apart from a bit of staining, they still look pretty much brand new. They still perform wonderfully, they've barely shed. Obviously time will tell how these brushes wear, but the PLouise brushes that I've got, so I've already got a couple of 7072 brushes and things like that. They've lasted really well, they've aged really well so far. I think the collection is lovely. I think it's definitely worth asking Santa for, given the fact that it's nearly Christmas. If you are someone who is just sort of starting to get into more sort of glam eye looks maybe, or you've got a daughter or a niece or a friend, if you're so inclined, that sort of beginner venturing into eyeshadow, this will be perfect for. Or if you're just after a really good neutral / nude palette, it will fit into your collection beautifully. It's also worth noting that a percentage of the proceeds goes towards Ditch the Label. Ditch the Label work with helping victims of bullying, cyberbullying, that sort of thing, which I think obviously the whole collection is centred around the things that we say online, and I think it's just a really nice touch that a percentage of the proceeds are going, you know, towards Ditch the Label. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say really. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. I don't want this video to be like a million miles long. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Are you gonna get anything from this collection? Let me know below. Let's have a chat. Like, you know, the Pickle fam isn't just over on Facebook, she's over here too. We're all part of it. Talking about Facebook, don't forget that I am live twice a week over on my main page over on Facebook, and I do also have supporters where I'm live an additional twice a week doing makeup as well. I will leave all the links down below, and I'll also leave a link to the collection down below as well. I don't know why I'm pointing, like, you guys know where down below is, do you know what I mean? It's fine. With all that said, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you get notified whenever I upload. And above all, at the minute, with the world going crazy, make sure to look after one another and stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, Pickles.